Hello again, and welcome to another TeamBN race. Actually working this time. Okay, fantastic. We have something special for you today. It is a Battle Network 6 race, but we're only going for the first two scenarios. So it's like a partial game race. And two reasons for this. One is that's a lot easier to get into, to like try it out, to learn a new game. And also it will be one part of future upcoming relay races. So imagine if we do Battle Network 1, 2, 3, but it's just the first two scenarios and you hand it off to your teammates, and then the same for 4, 5, and 6. And we're starting with 6 because we've got Risch and it was the last idea. So shout outs to TheLastAaoa for coming up with this. And they're going to be coaching some newer runners, Ionosphyre and Powerflare, through Diveman. And we're going to watch. And helping me out with commentary is...
Hello, I am Aerother. I will be helping on commentary today.
He'll be leading commentary. Have high expectations from Aerother, please. Not me.
Please do not.
Okay, but let's switch over here so we can see our racers. We have Ionosphyre and Powerflare. And, I should double check. Should take about an hour and a half. I think that's accurate. And we've got a timer, and we're all set up on racetime.gg. So if you want to do races of this in the future as well, once you've learned it, that'll be a good place to do that. Here, can I show it? Nah. No, this is we're trying to set up out something new, something different. Ionosphyre and Last are gonna call, and they're gonna work through game separate from Powerflare and Risch, and they're gonna work through the game. And once they finish, then they'll rejoin us in the main commentary. We will do that. Let's see.
Someone says game audio is high compared to the commentators.
Oh yeah, actually it is. Let me adjust that. We'll even out both of them while we're at it. All right, I think that's good. We're starting with Ionosphyre. We'll have audio. Cool. So thanks for calling that out. That should be fixed. I think we're all good. Aerother, anything else before we get started?
I don't think so. It might be worth noting that there are some things that are normally done in any percent that they might be skipping, since the race goal is Diveman. However, to fill some extra time, we're going to be going a little past Diveman most likely, so they might go back and get those things afterwards. I think Train Arrow is one of the big ones. If they don't get it in Seaside, they're not going to be farming for it.
Yep. That's the main one, is you need Train Arrow during the Heatman scenario, right?
Yeah. There are also some reg ups. I think
after.
They might be picking them up before. They might be picking them up after. I'm not certain.
Yeah. But the reg ups are a minor thing. If you're watching this as a, like, I want to try out BN6 speedrunning, main thing is just like whether or not you have to get Train Arrow, so you can skip that part. The reg ups are optional for the most part. Cool. I think we'll get started. So we've got a channel that we're using to coordinate. We'll tell the racers to ready up, and we will get started here. Ooh, and starting out quick. We got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
It's really taking me back to the SRL
3,
days.
2, 1, go.
And we're off.
Okay, so technically the streams are going to be delayed by 2-3 seconds. Wow, that's not bad though. Cool. Okay, so Aerother, this is Battle Network 6. They're just getting started. What's going on? What's happening?
So starting off in BN6 here, we're just talking to mom and dad, and then we have to go talk to everyone in the central area and then do the tutorial. I noticed that Powerflare was a little bit slow on skipping the cutscene, and his coach is Risch, so expect him to just get lucky a lot to make up his time. Ionosphere is being coached by TheLast. This information might be on the layout. I've not looked at it.
It's not. I thought about putting it. I guess actually I probably could have used the alternate layout, and the team name could have been like Coach Risch.
Yeah, it's stuff to consider for next time. If you have any feedback for us for next time, feel free to pop into our Discord and let us know. We actually have a channel for feedback. So in the first tutorial, it's very straightforward. They're going to be taking the cannons. I'm going to be interested to see whether they move down and then up or just stay still. Ionosphere will definitely be moving down and then up because that's what Last does. Standing still is potentially a few frames faster. Okay, one of them moved up and the other moved down. That is time neutral, so it doesn't matter, but... And in this tutorial, you can do 4 charge shots, and that's slightly faster than opening the gauge again. So it'll be interesting to see if they go for that or if they miss. It looks like they're still fairly even at this point. They are going for it. It's actually slightly faster to use the area grab first because you save a few frames by standing 1 tile closer to the meta.
With a charge.
Yep. It's something to do with how the rapid stat works.
Oh.
And then this tutorial is super straightforward. Just use the Vulcan and then 2 air shots.
Oh. Powerflare went for the Vulcan counter.
Yeah, unnecessary, but I respect it. It looks like Powerflares also have better matching so far.
Well, that was a good crack shot menu.
It was. This is the first race, yeah.
Cool. Solid start by both runners. So now they're going to central area, and there's a door that we have to have a reflector 1A to get through. So they're hoping to get 1 random encounter, and it'll have Matars in it. It might also have mock guns, and they've got crack shot on reg now, so they need to figure out how to get reflector. What's the drop rate for reflector? Is it like 100%?
At 10 and S, it's actually 100%. At 10, you have a chance to get A code, but at S, you will always get A code. And that's increased by counter hits, double deletes. Usually counter hits are just the main way that we increase our busting rank here.
Is rank 9 not 100% C?
I think rank 9 can be Zenny. I'm not certain because it never really happens.
Oh. Yeah, but essentially you want to try and get a high rank. And the important thing is, in 6, I don't know about the others, counter hits increase your rank. So trying to move 2 or less times and get 2 counter hits, though. Oh, Powerflare got Mach Gun A. As a 50-50 because it was rank 10. Could have been Mach Co. What's the other? K?
T, I think, and Gregor. Which is not a great code. Someone in chat, I guess they came in a little late. They're asking us to reintroduce ourselves.
Yeah, we'll just roll call everything.
I'm Arathar.
I am Trash42. On the left, we have Ionosphere being coached by TheLastAaoa. And on the right, we have Powerflare being coached by Risch. Risch is current world record holder. Airthar is like 10th or something, I don't know.
I think I'm 8th now.
And I don't even have a time. Please don't look me up on the leaderboard.
He has a time, but don't worry about it.
I run with a light cross. So.
Yeah, he's currently working on 6 actively as well, so we'll go down shortly. Someone else asked, are the racers blind or do they have some practice beforehand? I don't think they're necessarily blind. They've at least played 6 before. And
they do not have any
both
times.
I know that they both watch speedruns, but they've never done a speedrun, I don't think. I don't think they've practiced at all either.
Yeah. Ionosphere watches a lot of The Last run, so kind of familiar with speedrunning in general. Powerflare, some as well, but also is just like a long-time casual player. And they're being coached by pretty skilled runners. So that combination should hopefully help them get through it. Yeah, but the idea is we kind of want to show off like what it looks like when people who are less practiced play the games. Ooh, wide sword draw. Yeah, so how's this old stove fight work?
So the old stove fight, the AI for the old stoves generally will try to move to be 3 tiles away from Mega Man. So you want to move to the back to bait one forward with a sword and then get a counter hit into preferably a crack shot. It looks like Ionosphere has taken 2 swords, which works fine for sure.
Unfortunate luck on the movement. Because the old stoves, their first movement's completely random, and that one chose to move to the back. If he'd moved to the front, that fight would have been pretty fast.
And the 2 scenario race means that the goal of this race is deleting Dive Man. However, to fill some time, we're likely going to be going a bit further than that.
But the idea is that 2 scenarios is like a pretty good length. It'll be like about an hour to 2 hours, depending on like how familiar you are with the games and the run. So if you want to like try out speedrunning and not commit to the full game.
We have kind of 2 goals with these. We want to build up to a relay race for the series, and we also want to encourage larger community races for 2 scenario. And as such, we'll actually be releasing tutorials as well, focused at 2 scenario.
Mm-hmm.
And the goal of these is going to be to end somewhere between half an hour to an hour, even for kind of less experienced runners.
Yeah, sub 1 dive man is I think a great first goal.
Mm-hmm. A full any percent relay race, mostly time concerns and availability.
It's also like runner variance is kind of huge. Like you pit Risch up against pretty much anyone else, and you're gonna have minutes, many minutes of a lead.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so this is the Robo Control comp. Mega Man is being set on fire. Is he okay? What's happening?
Yeah, he's fine. You don't really need HP in this comp. Looks like Powerflare has gone for the kind of newer strat in this comp. I assume Ionosphere will too. Yes,
yep.
She did. So your step counter is fairly important in this comp. However, we generally telling newer runners not to worry about it too much. They both made it to the firewall without getting an encounter, so it looks like they're on pretty good track to only get 1 encounter in this comp. You can get 2, however, if you do the route correctly, and that's kind of why they dip down in the middle on the way to the second prog, then you're a lot less likely to get 2 encounters.
So before you pick up the HP memory, you have a 50% chance to run. So Ionosphere got the lucky first turn run, was able to make some time back up on Powerflare.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and here you have to talk to Mick 3 times. I think there's only, 2 times in the run where you have to talk to the same NPC 3 times. It's a little weird for Battle Network standards, so they force you to do it here.
Yeah.
I was watching someone play, it was Kazoo actually, BN6 for the first, well, not really for the first time, but kind of line. And he talked to Mick, and he's like, oh, I see the screen with the light. Let me go talk to that. And it didn't work, and I was super confused.
Oh, wow. Powerflare actually got the firewall skip.
Nice.
Very nice. They're about dead even now. It's like Ionosphere is going to go for her folder edit right away.
Only
this is
one
fine.
reflector. And it's C-coded. It's kind of unfortunate, but manageable.
Powerflare has a very good set of chips.
Yeah, Mach-On A. That could be real nice on Blastman. and put it up at the top. Folder edit kind of does that to bias the battle draws in your favor because it's towards the top.
He actually didn't do that.
Oh.
But I believe the reason for that is because we're not really... I think we touched on it in the tutorial, but we're not trying to make newer runners do super complicated folder edits. We're just put the chips in the folder.
I like that. Oh, and Iono got unfortunate encounter. Powerflare got lucky and skipped it. So now they're both on Blastman. This is pretty even.
And it's roughly 50% to get that encounter. Oh, Powerflare got a really good draw though, too.
Okay, so Powerflare stood behind the cube, and they're going to stand in the middle. Oh my gosh, what a fight. And the crack shot, he's dead. Just throw it. Oh, that's a good Blastman fight.
That was an excellent Blastman fight.
Amazing. You know, you said something about Risch and getting lucky.
Yeah, so that kind of Risch's thing is just get lucky. And that seems to be carrying over Powerflare.
Blastman did his like fire tornado attack, which comes out a little faster. It's a lot harder to counter hit than some of the others, unfortunately. Oh, that was a quick second attack. Pause bot for the sword kill. Clearly Last is coaching that one. Shout outs to Last.
So now the next thing they have to do is kind of go to Central Area 3, and this is where they're likely to start sneak running. Powerflare does get the encounter on the way. He can just run from this. He has a 100% chance. So they should buy 3 sneak runs here and use one immediately. And then it'll be interesting to see if they have them pick up the reg memories or not. There are no further reg ups required for deleting Dive Man. And he is going to go for it.
Oh, last encounter check. Alright, remember the key data. It's very easy to forget the key data. That will probably happen at one point. You're on the snap.
Yes, it does have collision though, so if you get in the habit of running up left there, you'll usually run right into it.
Yeah.
And you'll stop moving, which will be a prompt to pick it up. Oh, no turnaround on the statue. Clearly Risch is coaching this one.
Oh, Iono skipped reg up. Not sure for key data.
Oh, nice.
Another thing you can pick up around this point is copy damage, but that is only useful once you get into the Heatman scenario.
Yep.
So we should be.
And you can in fact pick it up as Heatman, and it's not super inconvenient or anything to add it in there.
Yeah.
Which might be last cool. And if they go past, they might just pick up the reg up as Heatman as well.
Yeah. Okay, so something pelican, we got to figure out what it eats. So this is just a bunch of talking to different people, and we have Reflector on reg from earlier, which is particularly good because this section's got 2 fixed fights that we have to go through, and the one coming up next is the fish box fight.
I will say that Powerflare is at a slight advantage here since his Reflector is A code and Ionosphere's is C code.
Mm-hmm.
Ionosphere honestly getting kind of unlucky with the RNG in her run.
Yeah. The pigeon.
You do never come back to this classroom, so we'll see if Ionosphere is going to be picking up this reg up as well. As a reminder, this run is likely going to go past Dive Man, even though that is the goal.
So Powerflare is getting ready to start the icebox fight. With
she
this one,
indeed.
You've got Reflector, and you want to move forward. Well, I guess you don't have to. You want to see where the Piranha moves, and then match that, and then reflect.
Oh wow, and they got Octagon again.
What? Shotgun's a fantastic
Reminder,
rocket.
this is at the bottom of his folder.
That's crazy. So that's how that fight can go, if you're lucky.
Yes. And that fight is one of the major reasons we like Reflector, right? Hopefully, with Ionosphere's C-code, she's going to want to draw probably Crackshot. Airshot plus 10 is also great. That's a pretty good draw. Yes, actually, I do agree. The plus 10 is definitely better on the Reflector.
Since Reflector does 60, the Piranha's got 70 HP. Could have busted those bubbles. It's a little spooky,
Yep.
though. You get caught in a bubble. They all sort of hit you.
A fast 2-turn fight from Ionosphere, which honestly is about average, I would say. You're usually not going to be clearing it in 1 turn.
Yeah, and particularly good given the C-code.
Yeah, especially with the C-code Reflector, that's actually pretty good. The difference between C and A is generally I would probably reset on a C-code Reflector.
Yeah. Fortunately, with the way counter hits work, you can, on most draws, not all draws, on most draws, guarantee an A-code.
In particular, fights with 3 viruses. Oh, interesting. He did hesitate, though. I guess Risch decided it's just as well to pick these things up now.
So this section is more just like back and forth talking, and we have sneak runs. So it's just knowing where to go, the main thing.
Yep. And the next fight coming up is another good one for Reflector Reg. What would you do if you got C-code in a marathon? I would probably just take more fights early on to try to make up for it and get another Reflector.
2 fights in Area 1 or 2 fights in Area 2?
In Scenario 1. After Scenario 1... like
Area 1.
Oh, no, in Area 2. I would just take the fight instead of trying to run if that's a possibility, and then I would probably take the first fight in Robo as well.
I'll go to Robo. Last like okay, yeah. So Bastion's first fight,
resets as last.
It's gonna be 2 turns.
Right,
you want to get a counter hit off the Matar, and then you need to bait the second Matar into not attacking until you get Reflector. Okay. Because Reflector, just the way it travels, is able to take out both of the other Matars in 1 shot. The one in the back, Matar 3, 120 health. That's a lot. So you really want to get a counter hit off the first Matar and then use the Reflector just like that to get the double delete. See what Iono draws, and she's got that Reflector C. Oh, crack shot! Alright, this could work. Nice. Reminder, it's literally impossible to die out of bathroom splits.
Yeah. No one has ever done that before.
Yeah. Shouts to it. Another BN6 speedrunner, little XX Fat Kid XX.
And so that was pretty much a perfect fight from my Ionosphere. That's
Yeah.
generally what you'll see here. So now, the big RNG part of any percent is the first run through Seaside area. You actually need to get a train arrow. It doesn't matter for these runners because they're going to be stopping a dive man, so you don't need train arrow, although it will still help. And it looks like...
You have a 50% chance to run, so if you can't 1-turn the fight, you should probably just reset. But since they know that this is coming, I think they're...
yeah, I think since they're going past... actually, you only have 25% run rate, I believe.
Oh, is it that bad?
Yeah,
Wow.
so it's really bad. A fast a fast second turn is still on average faster than running, I
Alright,
think.
I guess you just take the fight then.
Plus, that had a BGMD, which could be a Mega Energy Bomb, which is quite useful for Dive Man. Also, Train Arrow is still really good on Dive Man.
Cool. Timing on that reflector is super tight. Rana Buddy is protecting his puffy friend. Oh, got knocked out of the Vulcan. Made the puffy angry. Powerflare having a tough time with that fight.
It's actually easy to forget when you've run this game so much, but these fights are actually
especially when you're trying to counter.
Not free. Especially when you're counter hitting, trying to go fast. This reminds me of when I started running the game.
Oh, HP plus 200. Saved. Okay.
Nice.
Buffering a bit. It's worth saving frequently, apparently. I guess especially in this area. Oh, just trying to run. Gotta be 50%. I think last would advise running on 25%. Alright. Power did not get train out, right?
I don't believe so.
Second turn run. Okay. Good encounters though. It's like can make a big difference depending on if you get 1, 2, or 3 randoms here, and then how the fights go. Seaside area definitely the biggest part of RNG pre-dive, man.
For sure.
Iono with an unfortunate third encounter.
Literally last check encounter.
Yeah. The same one we just had too.
Immediately tries to.
If you don't get Train Arrow, at this point you can go into the fish sticks comp and pick it up. It's not ideal, but like it's probably for a marathon, it would be the backup strat for a race.
Yeah, generally speaking, I would use that strat. The alternative is trying to get one in Aquarium 1 or 3. However, especially in a marathon, I would prefer to show off the L button strats.
Alright, we're gonna swap the audio here. So now we're listening to Powerflare, because they're getting ready to do the Navicus. Navicus is a cool theme. The Navicus in BN6 is interesting, right? What?
In the sense that you can ignore some of the rules. It's definitely interesting. The layout of these doesn't actually matter as long as you're doing it in the fewest inputs possible. Just you can put the programs pretty much anywhere. When in this race, they won't be, at least up till Dive Man, they won't be editing this again. And then if you're doing a longer category or a full game run, you actually use select to remove all programs at once later, so it doesn't actually matter where these are.
Yeah. The second Navicus had it's super cool, actually.
The only real thing is to make sure that you don't soft lock.
Why is it always the Navicus tutorial?
I don't remember ever seeing it happen in 6, but I know it's happened in 4, and I think it's happened in 5.
Oh, really?
It's
okay.
Probably still possible.
Cool. So Powerflare's made it to the aquarium. All you have to do here is just talk to most of the displays. You can skip the jellyfish. Everyone knows what jellyfish is. Because we're learning useful information for the future. You also don't have to talk to dolphin, but you do have to look at the dolphin exhibit.
Yes.
Oh, I think they missed one. Okay.
Sorry. Went back. I was concerned for a moment.
Like, yes, making the
Oh, they talked to the dolphin at the bottom. Okay, they still got the actual panel.
Are those alligators or crocodiles?
I think they're alligators. I'm sure it says in game, but I missed it.
That's the last rig up. Powerflare got them all. Oh, ran into Grandpa. And skates right up those stairs. Doesn't care at all about the sign. So everything's good and fine. Land's gonna go home. We've returned the Pelican. Or sorry, Penguin. So day's done. Except of course, trouble follows Land wherever he goes. Yeah, despite all the trouble in Seaside, I don't know if I'm not that far behind.
The panel just said reptile. It was hard to catch, but I did not see alligator or crocodile.
Penguin. Right, no, okay. So now Bland has to figure out how to get to the aquarium controls, but the seal is blocking it. So from the kind of halftime aqua show that we totally all didn't skip, you learned that seal really likes their ball, but it's stuck in the water, so we got to go find a way to get it, but the jellyfish are in there. So we have to go get the copy bot. And the most important thing about this whole section is to remember to get into the copy bot.
Yes, which I'm sure the coaches will be making very well sure that the runners get into the copy bot. Yes, okay.
All right.
Powerflare with copy bot. The copy bot skip. Easy every time.
My last run yesterday, just talking to chat, first time. Halfway through the copy bot. It happens to everyone.
It sure does. So the second most part of the scenario, picking up the air-filled beach ball that has sunk to the bottom of the pool.
Okay, Powerflare is getting ready to start the Aqua Roam comps, and they're going to use kind of some newer tech. Arthur, you want to explain that?
So the way that this comp works, and well, comps in general, is that as you're running through them, you have grace period before your step counter is high enough to give you an encounter. So you have X number of checks, and I think that depends on the comp rather than being like a global number of checks.
Mm-hmm.
And once it hits a certain point, your chance to get an encounter will start going up from 0 to 3%, 6%, however many. I think it doubles each time. In these comps, it actually starts at 6. In net areas, it starts at 3. And pressing L to cycle to LAN and then back to Mega Man, it acts as though you've just entered the comp for the first time and completely resets your steps back to 0. There's also whenever you...
Whoa. Interesting.
Whenever you pick up a prog, your step counter will revert to the last check thing. I believe that's how it works.
When you pick up a prog, it puts you in this state where you can't get random encounters while you're running from the sharks. And when you return the prog and it returns to normal, oh, this is totally different. Oh dear. Oh dear. But when you return the prog and you put it in a specific tank, it resets you to the step value you had the last time you got an encounter check. Alright, so this is going to be different. Wow, okay. These three. That's spooky.
So, these sharks will do the same thing every time based on your movement. So if you move the same every time, the sharks will move the same every time. And the red ones are completely fixed. They're always the same pattern, though do move slightly faster.
Yep. Blue ones try and chase you, red ones.
That said, it's a little easier said than done for new runners.
Yeah, it of all the things to practice in Dive Man, this would probably be the biggest one, because if you don't have it totally memorized, if you try an improv uh, you can get in some. You can get stuck, cornered, captured, caught. But as long as you remember to keep pushing that L button, you'll never get random encounters, so it's not too bad. Ooh, went too fast. Yeah, that's a quirk about the movement right there.
I have a feeling that the first prog in Comp 2 might be a bit of an issue.
You know? We should... You think we should reroute these? To be easier.
Oh,
is that the right comp?
Yeah, this is last.
Oh, power's done? Cool.
Yeah.
Aquarium. Ooh,
so we had a little bit of mishap with the sharks. I think there's still about no time difference compared to when we entered. Yeah, that shark's
red shark's not going to be a problem now. Okay, one more. So Powerflare's coming up on the first frog of Comp 2. You can technically do these in any order. There's a quirk about the first time you pick up a prog in an area, it shows you where the sharks spawn, which delays Mega Man's movement. Nice.
Oh,
you got the
Powerflare, actually.
Oh god.
That was nice work.
Okay, cool.
And the right comp.
Yeah, so you can do the progs in any order. This is just kind of like a recommended way.
It took him a little while to skip the cutscene, but that's fine.
I wanted us to learn all about the Nautilus. Okay, let's see how Ionosphere handles prog number 1 for Comp 2. Power, you lost the prog. Prog and Acronym.
They might be following maps, so.
So we call them progs. It's Mr. Prog, short for program, and they just represent programs within a computer.
Ionosphere getting the first prog, totally fine as well.
Yo, nice. Yeah. In this case, the Mr. Progs are representing various aquatic creatures, and once we restore the state of the aquarium, we can play the lunchtime tune and end this madness.
Oh, that red shark, kind of pretty close there.
Very close.
Looks like Ionosphere has picked up a decent amount of time in these comps.
Buffered a little bit. What? Power. I'm gonna guess they didn't delay their movement.
Oh, yeah, they didn't.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Okay. What?
Is this? Are we even?
I think so, yeah.
That's crazy. Cool. So they're both about matched up going into Comp 3. This one has 4 progs. The first one...
I think this is actually the easiest comp of the 3.
Yeah, pretty good spot. Whoa! Ran a little farther. As soon as you get on top of those platforms with the stairs, you want to reset. Any further,
you have until the ramp, pretty much. The second ramp.
Okay. We'll just
Even with perfect. Usually, when at the top where the 2 segments kind of split into 2 different panels is where I'll do mine.
Gotcha. Yeah, this first prog is actually a liar.
Wait, wrong comp for Powerflare.
Reset. So if you put one of these programs in the wrong tank, you get a random encounter.
I like the no movie active and rewind disabled messages that we're getting.
I was wondering what those were. I'm like, what?
I don't know what Ionospheres is pressing or is bound to, but Powerflare is, I think, using Control R to reset. And I guess R is the hotkey for rewind. Which also probably means he's playing on keyboard, which is impressive to say the least.
Well, I mean, the controllers are used, it's mostly just a learning thing, which you get used to. Well, trying to run from a corner. Yo!
What?
What's the run right here? It's like 50%?
It should be higher than seaside areas, so 25 still.
Yeah, so that's pretty lucky. Oh, it makes sense. Risch is the coach.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Almost got 3 progs. Power's got 2. That unfortunate tank selection. It's gonna be close. It's all gonna come down to the dive man fight.
Yep. Hopefully they save before dive man.
Yeah. Powerflare has a slight advantage on dive man because of the A-coated reflector and the mock gun. Mock gun is one of the few chips that'll hit dive man while he's submerged. Dive man's a very defensive and annoying navy.
Yes, it also just does a bunch of damage, and dive man has, I think, 500 health. Or is it 400?
Probably 500.
I think it's 5.
Cool.
Yeah.
So can you explain in general dive man's mechanics?
Yeah, so for dive man's movement himself, if he has 2 options, he will never backtrack, and he will try to move out of Mega Man's row. If he has 2 movement options, it'll be a 50-50. Every 4th time he comes up, he's guaranteed to do the tidal wave attack, and that's your only consistent timing to counter hit him. Every other time he comes up, he has, I believe, a 33% chance to lob projectiles at you. And those you can counter, and it is fairly easy to counter them, but it's random whether he does it or not. And these torpedoes will always spawn 1 in Mega Man's row, and then in addition to the... Ooh, that's a nice counter. I lost him.
I thought the pause was going to eat the counter.
The torpedoes will always spawn 1 in Mega Man's row, and then where the other one spawns, I think, is 50-50.
Oh, man.
It's just been a pretty good fight from Ionosphere.
Yeah. And Powerflare.
Oh, but Powerflare has...
So this could be really good.
Reflector is really hard to use against dive man. If he does the bombs, it might counter, although he moved out of the way. If you counter the first bomb, I think could work.
Did they finish on race time? Oh, they did.
Nice.
Nice.
Very nicely done from Ionosphere.
Yeah.
And honestly, a sub 40 dive man is really good for like a new player.
I'll be honest, my expectations are exceeded.
I thought it was going to be above 40 for sure.
I guess it helps a lot when you have a coach telling you what to do.
Yeah, I mean, for newer runners, really remembering where to go and not forgetting anything is definitely most of the battle. That was a fairly good fight from Powerflare
and
as
pretty
well.
Close, too. Wow, look at that. So they have both finished. They're pretty close. Neither of them got train arrow. We're basically even to just continue on with part 2. Let's see. Do we want to like get the runners in here and just like have a chat about how the race went?
Yeah, I'd like to ask them their thoughts, each one of them.
Yeah.
Maybe start with Iono and last, since they won.
Yeah. If they are unable to join the channel, hopefully their coaches will move in. I guess they are also technically streaming right now in Discord.
Yes. We could move into their channels. We can drag TeamBN.
We'll see. Oh, it looks like Iono stopped sharing. I think they're gonna hop in.
Okay.
That's probably simpler.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, chat, what'd you think of the race? Is anyone here interested in learning Battle Network 6 now, or one of the other games? We are interested in doing this with the entire series, so if you would like to be a new runner for 1 through 5, you could be featured on an upcoming TeamBN 2 scenario race. Do you want to pop in to Coach 1 and see what's going on? Eric?
Q plus maniacs. I can, yeah.
Blastman EX.
Do we want to
Wait,
take just one
what?
of them at first, or are we going to take both of them in here?
It doesn't matter to me. Wait,
That's probably the same, right?
yeah. At first, so BN4 is the kind of problem for the whole 2 scenario thing with BN4. It would probably have to be do Shade Man, do the tournament prelims, and you would end probably when you see the tournament board, which is a bit less satisfying. But the only alternative is to do tournament 1, which is random and would take a lot longer. So I don't know. All of the others kind of work out fantastic, though. Got Numberman, Quick Man, Beast Man, and then for being 5, you'd probably just do like Liberation 1 or maybe Liberation 2. All right, hey Last, hey Iono, congratulations. That was a good race and a good win.
That was an adventure.
Okay, well, Iono, how do you feel? How'd it go?
It went okay. You can definitely tell I am a bit rusty. I need to practice counter hitting my mentors, and I need to not pause buffer swords by accident, and I need to not jack out of aqua comps instead of L button, because I did that once and almost made the time.
Yeah, easy mistake. And the pause buffer sword thing, I thought that was just one of Last strats, so...
No, that was it. I forgot where my start button was.
Oh, cool. Very good. Last Hub, how was your experience?
I knew that we were going to be a little rusty out of the beginning because counter-hitting Metires is tricky when you haven't done it in a while, and getting that Reflector C was just kind of painful. And I had to come up with on the fly, do we want to reg it? Do we want to try and farm a Reflector A somewhere? What are we going to do with that? And then the Aquarium comps went practically perfectly for a new player. We got eaten by like 2 sharks, we got no encounters, we were real nice with our L buttons, so that's where we saved all the time, and I mean, I think that's what it came down to, really.
Definitely. Well, cool. Hey, let's thank you for that. Let's see what Powerflare, how they feel about the race. Power?
Honestly, it went a lot better than I was thinking. I felt really good about the first split, not having played the game in like 6 months. Drew well on Blastman, was just kind of lucky. A lot of mistakes in the Diveman split, Aquarium comps, but to be honest, I thought it was going to be worse than that. I've never really done the comps before. Risch was really like spot on with reminding me to do the L button strats and helping me sort of compensate for the routing changes when I messed up the movement. I was thinking it was going to be like 5 minutes longer than that, so I mean, a lot to work on, but I was pretty happy about it, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. Like, the Aquarium comps are just tough, especially for new runners, because if you don't do the movement exactly right, the blue sharks are going to get you, so you did good.
Yeah.
I want to say I was very impressed with both of you in the Aquarium comps. In particular, the first comp in Aquarum 2, I was expecting someone to get caught, but neither of you did. It was really good.
Yeah, where you have to delay your movement. So I don't know how the coaches work through that, but you guys did it excellently. Cool. And
Yeah, the I think Powerflare has some nice little maps that he made for himself. He shared with me. He has a very nice large circle where he tells himself to walk here during that part. So I made sure to remind him. And yeah, I think the key thing about it though was he wasn't as familiar with how to or with the fact that once you pick up the prog, you basically have to start moving right away.
Yeah.
So so basically he was picking up the prog and then checking his maps, trying to figure out like how to move through the comps, but by that point the blue sharks are going wherever they want. So once he started figuring out like, let me check my maps first and like figure out how I want to get through here and then pick up the prog and go, he was doing a lot better. So
yeah, nice. And maps, I think, are an excellent resource, especially for the dungeon comps when you're learning out. So if anyone else is interested in like picking up BN6, ask on the Discord. We'll get you whatever resources you need. Cool.
Agreed.
Risch, any other thoughts? Like how the race go in general? You like being a coach?
No, yeah, being a coach was fun. Overall, I think the race was pretty good. I liked being able to, explain how to do things to Powerflare. He was basically saying what I was going to tell him to do before I could tell him to do it sometimes, which was really good. And like I said, I don't know if it's been mentioned yet, but Powerflare hasn't really done anything past the Seaside BBS portion of the game yet, and as far as the speedrun is concerned. So considering that fact, he did really, really well, picking it up on the fly. And yeah, I think that he got some really good draws, but he executed really well on those draws as well, which helped get a really nice early lead over Io. But a little bit of I'm not sure Io if Io has any experience with the Aquarum comps previously.
I have little handmade maps that I made also. I've run through them probably a grand total of like 8 times or so. So a little bit of experience. Like I recognized in the third comp, especially when you've got so many zigzags to go around, I recognized like where you've gotta go, but it wasn't perfect.
Yeah, I think that was comp 3 was one of the tougher ones because I could, in a lot of the other comps, I was able to tell Powerflare when to start turning a little bit in advance to let him know like this is the path you need to take. But when it's very sharp turns that you need to make multiple times in successions for different zigzags, or you're going in a very unorthodox pattern to get away from the sharks, made it a little tricky to explain, but he still did really well with it. So yeah, I think that this was a really fun idea, and I think that coaching was both a good experience for Powerflare and the runners in general, to see like some insight into how to run the game, but also the coaches to like. There was a few times where I was looking at what Powerflare was doing, and I was like wondering, maybe is this movement slightly faster? So.
I feel like Last and I spent the whole time laughing at the silly mistakes I was making.
Well, cool. And yeah, that Blast Man fight was pretty fantastic, Powerflare, with the mock gun. Very nice.
Yeah, that was really lucky.
Imagine having a mock gun.
Yeah, right?
I want to shout out your safety save in Aquarum 3. Like, that immediately was relevant when you put the prog in the wrong spot. I would have just totally forgotten about it and cried to myself and done the fight. And you're just like, no, reset. That's what this is for.
That's why I was saving it. If you noticed, I saved it like almost every prog, and that's why.
Yeah, I didn't think that the safety saves were going to be like too useful before the progs, but when he put it in, I was like, you have to deal with this fight. And then he's like, oh, should I reset? I was like, wait, yes, that's genius, reset.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
Saving.
New world record strat is what I'm hearing.
Well,
The correct strat is to
just get lucky. I believe is what I've heard.
play bad, get lucky. Correct.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, those first turn runs from Powerflare was like, oh, right, Risch is the coach, okay.
I have
No.
so many.
I knew you guys were gonna comment on the luck the second I came in here. Like he drew
Oh my
the
gosh.
gun, so it's even better. I'm strongly now recommending that you put mock gun in the same slot as the recoveries because Powerflare just drew it on like
He drew
every
it on every
turn
fight.
wide.
I didn't put it up at the top of the folder.
Yeah, it was.
I didn't
in
want to go
slot-
back and change it.
It was like slot 20, and like I told Powerflare as far as the folder dates were concerned, I said basically that. Hold on, sorry.
Same,
I'm
Risch.
focused with that.
Nice.
As far as the power or the folder edits were concerned, that doing the folder edit and getting the right chips in the folder is way more important than having them in the right slot. So wasting the time to like move them around when you're not exactly sure what you're doing is just a waste of time in my opinion. So
Yeah.
once he had the mock-ins in the folder, I said, okay, go for it. And funnily enough, it just worked out that he drew it on, the Blast Man fight, the Icebox fight, and on Dive Man.
It's perfect, honestly. Like, couldn't have gotten any better luck than that.
Yeah, definitely really showed through who was coaching you.
I knew the second he started drawing those, and then he got the first turn runaway at a 25% chance, and I'm like, all right, they're going to
It wasn't
comment on the RNG aspect.
It wasn't even about drawing it. We were on you since he got the mock gun.
He got the mock gun, and he got the 50-50 Affirma rank 10. I was like, yep, this is...
It's funny because in last stream, I used to be known for bad RNG, because I would always show up, and then last would get like the 50-50 before Blast Man, and then everyone would say, blame Powerflare. But,
Blame Powerflare.
Yeah, blame Powerflare. But here, I guess blame Risch for the good luck or something.
Shows the power of, telling the game what to do.
Mhm.
The game bends to my will sometimes when I, play it long enough.
All right. Well, so that was good, but I think we're not done yet. I believe the next thing after this is, if the runners are up for it, we're going to go all the way to the Sky Gauntlets because that should be fun.
And
Oh, I thought we were doing Greg RSP.
You're welcome to.
I mean, I'm down. Let's go.
I don't know if Tara's willing to be on tech duty for another 24 hours.
Yeah,
And
it'd be a little drained on commentary.
I mean, I'll pull up the notes right now if we need to.
yeah.
Let's
Gregor
start
SP
with, see that.
side, yeah. I think what needs to happen next is both runners still need to pick up Train Arrow, which is necessary to get to Seaside. We've got the Heatman scenario up next. I think the coaches all know what to do. So if we want to continue, we all good to move on?
Yeah.
Good
So-
luck.
I grab her water real fast.
Yeah, yeah.
Back in like a minute.
Okay. Well, so on that note, we'll go ahead and move everyone back into their Discord rooms, and we will play some music. Everybody take a break, get some water, stretch your legs, and we'll continue with part 2 of the race on up to the Sky Gauntlets. Okay. Hope everyone had a good break. We are gonna update some stuff. How long do you think it's gonna take to go through Sky Gauntlets at this point?
Based on how quick they got this far, probably not that long. We might hit like the 2-hour mark. Where's my Sky Gauntlets?
2 hours
122.
total? I had to reset the timer. So do you think we got like an hour and a half left? Just put 1:30 on the clock?
It would take about 50 minutes for an experienced runner. So based on this, I would say maybe up to an hour and a half, possibly. I'd expect if it goes as well as this has, it might take an hour or 10.
Oh, well, I'll set the goal at 1:15. So we have Ionosphyre and Powerflare. Ionosphyre coming out with a narrow win in the Dive Man fight. Fantastic. Whoop. Powerflare not long after that, and now both of them are going to continue the game from this point, and we're going up to, like, as you're learning the game, one way that you can do it is just do like partial runs of increasing length. And Sky Gauntlets are kind of a pivotal point in BN6 because, like, at that point you have all the major pieces, and it comes down to a lot of execution because it's just how many fights total? Like 23 fixed encounters where it's just you need to do them.
Yeah, Sky Gauntlets comes down a lot to just knowing how to do the fights with copy damage and heat cross, but also being able to react to any better chip draws you might have. Yeah. But honestly, if you just know how to do them all with copy damage and heat cross, you can go very fast.
Mm-hmm. I'm a little disappointed. Neither runner's probably going to get a let cross, but
I have my doubts.
But that aside, I think we are ready to get started again. So how about, do you still have race time up?
Yep.
So you do the countdown, and like type 3, 2, 1, or 3 enter, 2 enter, 1, go, and then I'll start the timer when I see him start moving.
This chat race is now closed. No new messages may be added.
What?
Why can you type?
Because I'm the super admin.
Oh, because you're a mod.
I have a sword. That's why. Hopefully that worked.
Yeah.
We'll see if they start moving. Hey, they did. All right. And we're back. Okay, so they just beat Dive Man. We're going to Sky Gauntlets. Kind of what happens between now and then, Arathar?
So between now and Sky Gauntlets, we have the Heat Cross scenario, which is the first thing they're going to be doing. Both of them ran to the exit of the aquarium. It was good. And now they're talking to their coaches, I imagine. So after the Heat Cross scenario, which this is where they're going to need copy damage for the first time. For the kettle fights. The kettle fights are... They're easy, but you need to know how to do them, and even then they're not trivial. So it's going to be interesting to watch those. And then we have the Circus Man scenario, so you'll get to see soul weapons, which should be pretty interesting.
You can't go to Seaside!
What?
After exiting, Iono tried to go back to Seaside.
Oh.
But they couldn't.
I don't know that I've ever tried.
It's like, well, when are we going to go to the Fish Sticks comp? We got to get Train Arrow.
Mm-hmm. After soul weapons, I guess they'll do lotto codes as well during the Circus Man part, so we'll see if they only get the 4 that we normally get, or if they're going to pick up any others.
They might skip Elm Trap, because I don't know if that's useful for Sky Gauntlets.
I think it's good in a couple fights.
You can't even leave school. No Train Arrow for anyone.
Yeah, you can't go now.
So they're just going to have to farm it as Deep Man, right?
Yeah, which is fine, because he can run away from the non-piranha encounters.
Which, like, that used to be the strat, right? Way back?
Yes. Yeah.
Who discovered fish stick?
Ironically, he's actually that was someone pretty recently. I'm not sure who. Ironically, Heatman's actually really good at the water encounter. Seaside.
Yeah. But, oh, we're buffering.
Yeah, it looks like Iono's stream has frozen. Okay, should be back.
Technical difficulties. It's okay. Probably just a virus.
And then we'll also be doing the judge tree before we get to Sky Gauntlets.
Is it? Is it working on your end? Maybe let me refresh the browser.
It's a bit of a slideshow, but it's moving.
Okay, refresh.
Alright, looks like it's good now. Nope. Okay.
Not sure.
It's skipping a little, but it's mostly working. So they'll pick up 4 sneak runs here.
Some Murphy. So the kettle fights are cool because with Crackshot on Reg, all these Link Navis have a signature chip that they start with. So between and he got hit.
Ooh. Yeah, I was worried about that. Oh, he saved before it, I guess. It's just gonna reset. I don't know if that's actually faster than fixing it in the next fight, but we'll find out.
Oh.
The only bad thing is if you mess up on the last fight, it's quite bad. Or the second last fight, sorry. Ooh. Yeah, as soon as you hit A for the crack shot, you need to start holding down.
Yeah, if you buffer all the inputs, the timing is nice and lined up, but you have to know ahead of time, like, okay, A, hold down, A.
Yeah.
Oh, he's gonna get...
Oh, he dodged it.
Okay.
So that was a little late. You can actually buffer the chip during the movement animation from tile to tile, and that's the easiest way to do it.
Okay.
Looks like Iono got hit too on her end,
Yeah.
the shockwave. She is not going to reset, it looks like. I imagine Last is going to have her fix it during the next fight.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind,
God.
there's the Capcom logo.
Okay. We're using Power's audio, so this is okay. So this fight, if you've got full synchro, you can just start off with, done well. Start off with
well
the
done.
heat press, and then move down and back to counter hit the champion. The third fight, probably the strat that you want to use is just move to the back and wait.
We'll see if that's what they do. Risch is the coach, so...
Yeah. Oh no.
Oh, okay, well... They made it.
The timing on that's a little tighter, but you can do one movement earlier if you delay moving back. You have to know like where that kettle, or not where the old stove is going to fight. For this last one, you need full synchro going into it, and you reg copy damage, and that's one of the reasons we pick up all the reg ups earlier for the most part. Because copy damage, heat press, full synchro will take out the triple kettle fight. The alternative to that is we don't have any fire chips. Like used to, you'd pick some up and put them in the folder, kind of maybe as a backup. But you'd have to use the buster and maybe get buster up.
It looks like Ionosphere is going to wait until it's all the way in the front.
Yeah, so this is like the easier to time one because you just wait for it to move to the front. Go. So the Heatman fight, Aerithar, how's that work? We actually don't have Train Air in the folder, so we don't have anything really good to draw here.
I expect this to be fairly slow and potentially a disaster. You can counter hit all of Heatman's attacks, but the counter hitting the second type, like after he's done his initial attack, is a little more difficult. And I don't expect new runners to be super good at that.
His back burner, can't you only counter the first one?
You can only counter the first hit of his back burner, yeah.
Yeah. His heat press attack is actually pretty fun to counter hit if you have the right ship like Wide Sword.
Yeah, it's actually a really generous timing to counter hit that attack as well.
Our flash is gonna like fall in on. Oh, so the heat wave that's moving forward, you can dodge that, right? If you time it.
Yes, yeah. You
Moving
can step
forward.
through the heat wave. It can be a little intimidating though, depending on what attack he follows up with.
Well, Synchro Sword, he came right to the
Unbuffered sword
front.
on Heatman.
Well, I mean, Risch is coach, so.
Oh right, yeah. Pause
Oh.
buffering's not allowed here. Yep,
I
that
frame
was,
mechanic
was a good enough Heatman fight.
Yeah, all things considered.
It always just goes bad if you don't have Train Arrow.
Alright, so Ionosphere, the fix full synchro, but now it's got counter hit press, can do that. The Heat Cross tutorial, we've got fire hit. Ooh, tried to be fancy. But basically, you use one fire hit for the Matar, and then you use the second fire hit to take out one of the other Matars, and then it's just 2 charge shots for the rest of them.
The mini bomb draw.
The unfortunate sword on Heatman.
Yeah, they just throw the mini bomb. That's definitely what I would do there. Don't try to counter hit with that thing.
Counter hitting with Minimum Bomb is tough because Heatman has a random number of moves before he does an attack, and his attacks are where you counter hit him. Cool. So with Heat Cross now, oh nice dodge. So far, and Heat Cross. With the Heat Cross scenario finished, Powerflare is moving on to the Circus Man scenario, and this introduces a couple things. First is the number trader, lotto codes, so we can get some powerful stuff. This is where you'd have notes, certainly, because it's hard to memorize random numbers. And soul weapons after that, as well as everything that after that, actually.
Yeah, so this is a really big turning point in the run. You get both Buster Pack and Heat Cross, and it makes things considerably easier for the rest of the run. You also get 400 extra HP, which I guess is relevant.
Yeah, or more depending on which specific edit you do. Most likely, do you think they're going to have them keep undershirt in, or do attack plus 1 strats?
That's a good question. I think coming up, it's going to be safe enough that they'll probably do attack plus 1, but we'll see, I guess.
That's true. It doesn't go to under BBS. Oh, I don't know. Could have got the wide sword on the Heat Press.
Yeah, definitely playing it super safe, as I expected.
Okay. Double crack shot. Heatman down. So not too bad. So now Ano just has to like end the day and catch up to power.
I actually missed if Powerflare went for it, but I assume neither of them are going to go for the fancy thing in the tutorial here.
Oh, I think Powerflare paused, so Risch might have been trying to explain it, but it's one of those like looks like Iono is trying to do it using the buster instead of the button. Wait, why?
What?
Uh-oh.
Why did she reset?
Because she missed the cool trick. Now we gotta fight Heatman again. We'll just guess that was probably unintentional.
Most likely.
So there is a needlessly fancy trick that you can do with the Heat Cross tutorial. Not really important, won't go over it.
I think it saves like a second.
Basically,
Looks like Powerflare has gone for undershirt.
yeah. So this Navicuss HP is not bugged, which is good. The Buster is bugged, but the only consequence there is that sometimes when you fire a regular Buster shot, it will jam, and even more rarely, it will actually just be a full charge shot. So it looks like this Heatman fight's going better the second time. So shoutouts to practice.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely going faster.
On the counter hit.
And honestly, practice on Heatman should be pretty useful, especially for trying to time the counters on his other attacks. The first attack's pretty easy to figure out, but the other ones do take a little bit of practice.
Powerflare is beginning the first soul weapon section. Airthar, can you briefly describe like how soul weapons work?
Yeah, so soul weapons give you 4 different weapon types, and there are 3 different types of evil spirits. The red ones will die in 1 hit from any direction, the yellow ones will die in 2 hits, and the blue ones in 3. However, if you hit one from behind, it'll kill them no matter what level they are. Oh, and she got the thing, I guess. Lasted swag in chat. Nicely done.
So yeah, that's the fancy trick.
Worth the reset, to be honest.
And reminder to save. Good. So now the heat cross scenario is done. Ionosphere, it will follow ending the day, doing lotto codes, and catching up to the next soul weapon section.
Yep. And something you'll notice them doing a little bit is going out of their way to hit a ghost to knock down their level before they use like an AoE soul weapon. And the reason for that is the time it takes for a ghost to disappear fully is much longer than the time it takes for them to get knocked down a level. So it ends up being faster to do it in that order, even if the movement is a little more.
Yep. Essentially, you want to multi-delete as much as you can.
It was a 2-scenario race. This is just kind of a bonus because we thought that a half an hour was too short. Or 40 minutes, I guess.
Yeah, the 2-scenario race to Dive Man went phenomenal. Both runners did well. Thanks in small part to their coaches. So we wanted to, since they were up for it, play more of the game. And the next most interesting thing is seeing how a couple of new runners would approach the Sky Gauntlets, since those fights can be pretty tough and interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if Powerflare has maps. I imagine that's what they're looking at when they pause.
I know maps were made for this scenario. I don't know where they are or how to link them, but...
Well, it was probably after the race we synced up outside the Avman's comps.
Yeah. The race was super close too. They were only about a minute apart.
Yeah.
A little less. 40 seconds. 50 seconds? 45 seconds?
You know, there's a
Quick
race
math.
timer. Unless you believe, yeah, it was totally
It doesn't have a
synchronized.
plus minus, I'm just...
Well, if Risch can multiply like 5-digit numbers in world record attempts,
I just can't be bothered. Is my real answer.
cool. Soul weapons section done successfully. Good job, Powerflare. Ionosphere. See, it looks like they're going to end up with the same Navicust with a bugged Buster, not bugged HP, and Undershirt. You can swap Undershirt for attack +1, but that actually, because Heat Cross has a natural buff to your Buster damage, it doesn't make as much of a difference. So it's better to keep Undershirt in until you need a small advantage in select fights.
Yeah, the attack +1 adds so little that honestly it's mostly a world record attempt thing.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't
Likewise.
actually affect Heat Cross at all.
Yeah.
In fact, it's strictly negative for Heat Cross because of the Buster bug.
Oh yeah, the attack +1 would double the Buster bug, right?
Well, you don't have a Buster bug at all without... Or, yeah, no. Yeah,
The Buster bug.
it does double the Buster bug.
So
The Buster
after-
bug goes away, though, after Judgment. If you don't put attack in.
Oh, that's true. Well, but at that point, you could probably just move the attack +1 down if you want no bug.
Yes. No, yeah, it expands vertically. So you could do that, but you just take another edit. And Navicust edits are super slow.
Well, actually, when you put attack no, yeah, you would have to do another edit. Anyway, so Powerflare's in the second section of Soul Weapons. At the end of the first one, Mega Man confronted Rhaegar and absorbed him, which kind of incapacitated him. So now we have to get some healing water for him. But because Mega Man's indisposed, you have to use one of your Lick Navis, and the only one we have access to right now is Heatman. So we got to run through as Heatman in Seaside area.
Wait, can we not just put attack 1 off the grid? Terra, you're a genius.
At the very start, and then it fixes Buster Bug for both of them.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't, I guess. There's one extra input in the first edit, and then it fixes Buster Bug, right?
Yeah?
Alright, world record routing, done live. It's not here first, folks. I'll instigate this change immediately. A point blank longsword. So for the ghost that Powerflare just took out, we do longsword, but we longsword it because it lets us take it out from one space away. It doesn't matter because Seaside Area 1 you end up with several extra weapons which get converted to bug frags. Largely irrelevant, although probably a small benefit for Rhaegar SP. And this is the door that you have to have Train Arrow to get through, which no one has yet. Okay, so here's the old strats. They're gonna fight random encounters as Heatman to get Train Arrow.
Yep. Luckily, the sneak run wears off right before this door.
Oh, this is a bad encounter. So it randomly picks which virus to give you a reward from. So it's a 1 in 3 to get the Piranha. And then Piranhas have essentially a 50% chance to give you Zenny or the chip. So this is a 1 in 6. And Heatman's Charge Shot can't hit the back. We got Air Shot and Reflect. This is okay.
They could get Longsword S2 though, which wouldn't be that useful, but a consideration.
Oh, you're actually too far. Well, a 1 in 6. Okay. Of course. Versus the coach. Alright. So Powerflare's gonna continue. I wonder if he saw that counter, it's like, nah, just fight it. I feel good.
I think you would take any fight that has the Piranha in it, even if it's a low chance.
You'd have to, because then you can just reset if you don't get it, maintain a high stat counter. But rigged? No, it's not rigged. It's Risch.
It's rished.
Where's Robot? Quote that. Cool. The thing you got to be careful about in CSAT area is accidentally stepping on the arrows and then having to take the long walk around.
Yeah, no one has ever done that, especially not in a world record.
Once you finish CSAT area 2, there's a door blocking your way to the next area. And they only it's 3 fixed fires and counters. And because we've got Heat Man, we have Heat Press, and we got Crack Shot and Rig, so all of the fights can be cleared with just those 2 chips pretty quickly if you know how to do it. So we'll see how this goes for power.
There are a lot of water viruses here, so I'm not against the save either by any means. Oh, of course. Risch is the coach, he just draws End Boomer.
The Piranha could... Oh,
I don't think that was necessarily faster than Heat Press, but...
But why not? Elm Trap!
Dude, I just... The thing about these random draws is they only really speed up the last fight.
Yeah, because these first 3 you can take out pretty fast. I think copy damage is the only thing, if I saw it, I would actually take that.
Oh no. Oh, he got the counter, okay. We're fine.
Interesting strat. Dodge the attack, then counter hit. Oh, the Matar's got an invis. Probably fine, probably. There's a chance that as the Crack Shot is flying towards the Matar, he uses invis. Nothing you do about that though. We set it up to where... Oh, and he didn't invis, he just attacked. Where you could hear the game audio for the race, but that also means that the race, or the coach commentary is not being recorded. Oh, Iono is going for... Oh, this is spooky.
Oh,
the trainer.
got the trainer.
That's a 1 and 3. Is that first try trainer for both of them?
I believe so.
Oh my gosh.
Future world record holders here.
Yeah.
Very good at trainer.
So it's an important skill. But potentially in the future, it would require like a separate secondary recording to also include commentary. I was trying to find the gunshot. That's tricky positioning.
It's actually kind of tight. You can just hold up and then flick to upright, but it's... don't try to do that.
You just hold up and then you pull a Risch, right?
Yeah, of course.
Sounds like something to fix. Okay, Lucky. I look forward to your technical suggestion. Thank you, sir. Record on your phone. Okay. I take it back. I'm not looking forward to your suggestion. Which, on that note, we'd like to start doing more races and relays in particular, but to do that, it takes a lot of people to set everything up, do the recording, do the stream, get it uploaded to YouTube afterwards. So if you have any interest in like helping grow Battle Network community in terms of like racing and speedruns, just draw more interest in the series, Play something on Discord. We could use the help. So Iono's gonna do the fights. First one went textbook. Perfect. Powerflare is doing the healing water fight, and the Matar got invis. That I feel like I haven't seen that in a long time. That is unfortunate.
That is unfortunate. I don't remember if it gets to use the invis. That said, I'm sure we'll find out.
I'm sure it will,
there's
because
actually a 50-50 chance that the Quaker can land in the front, and then the Metar will definitely get to use invis. I assume this pause is because Risch is explaining how the fight's supposed to go. This one's a little complicated, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yep, he got it though.
Wow.
Nicely done.
That... okay.
So this is the downside. That thing has 20 health left over, so if you don't get lucky, you can... Of course it's End Boomer. Literally air shot will work, but he draws End Boomer. Fair enough.
He got Mega Boomer in the half encounter.
Wow.
Almost used it.
I wouldn't have blamed him, to be honest.
Get another reflector, eh?
So
Power's
the
gonna...
tutorial fight is just the Vulcan and the sword deletes everyone, and I assume that's what he'll do, but we'll see.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy to counter hit a Metar with the Vulcan.
There's also like a stroke.
Oh, he charged it. Okay, well.
Yeah, the tricky thing with the B-Stat form is you can charge chips, so if you want to use one, you have to press A. You can't hold A, like normal. And the auto lock-on can be a bit weird. But for that, as soon as you see the targeting cursor for the guns, then you just push A twice.
Yes.
Hey, Mega Boomer in this
That's
fight.
a really good draw. Shame about the Metar, but the Metar's not in the back, so you can actually buster it.
Yeah, and with the grass panels, it only takes 2 charge shots. So what would you do? Copy damage, move up, Boomer?
Yep, absolutely. That was a very good fight. Anything that doesn't take a second turn is perfect on that encounter.
Yeah. You know, and they're not that far behind, all things considered, because Iono just has to do the B-Stat tutorial, and Power's going for Circus Man. Then we could do Judge Man scenario. Where they fight base. Except not. Circus Man. So this is the first boss that you get to do with Heat Cross. Looks like Risch is instructing use of Crack Shot. Crack Shot technically does save 1 charge shot. Just a little bit faster. Ooh, unless you...
Did not step forward first, though. That's a little slow on the charge shots,
It's an
too.
important stuff there. Because if you crack your own panels, then Circus Man can hide.
Doesn't necessarily say... If you get super lucky, it can still save time if you crack your own panel, but... Generally speaking, pretty easy fight. Heat Cross really dismantles bosses very quickly.
130 damage charge shot.
Can see the pauses at the start of new scenarios to either look at any notes they might have or ask the coach where they're going next.
I like it. I also kind of appreciate the movement of new runners, like just taking the wide corners, not like ramming your face against all the walls.
Definitely.
You you can tell pretty accurately how long someone's been running Battle Network by how many walls they run into and how tight they cut corners.
Yep. I definitely agree. And so now Ionosphere is doing her Circus Man fight. Good crack shot.
Okay.
That's a perfect Circus Man fight. Absolutely perfect.
Yeah. It's exactly what you want to go for. The crack shot is kind of optional, but still a little bit nice. The only thing that makes that better is if you draw Mega Boomer, because then you get grass panels to work with, and then it just destroys Circus Man. One, 5, 3. I'll never remember that. It's okay. I'll just ask someone in game. Sure, their coaches will also help them. So Powerflare is doing kind of, what's it even called? Expo Navi selection test.
Pavilion Navi Operator Selection Test thing.
AKA scavenger hunt. So it's like, hey, we're hiding, come find us. The next comp's actually important. We're going to fish sticks because you can get an unlocker there, which they can use to get Black Bomb, which will be pretty good in a lot of the Sky Gauntlet fights.
They are picking up the unlocker here.
Now we're going to go look at Crayfish.
That unlocker is for a Black Bomb in the green HP area. It's mostly only useful on G-Beast. I guess it is a little bit useful in the Sky Gauntlet fights, especially if you're not experienced with how to do them very quickly.
The second one is the appliances fight, but that's after the Sky Gauntlet, so we won't actually be going there.
Ionosphere picking up the HP memory.
It's like, it's the blue
That
mistake.
hesitation, I think, was, hey, what's in that? And then last was like, yeah, go for it.
There's like this transition you have to make going from casual to speedrunner, and you have to learn to just ignore the shiny.
Mhm. Would you recommend picking up any extra chips from the chip trader for a new runner? I don't think so. I think I would just take... Yeah, I know you meant number trader. It's fine. I think I would just take the 4 we normally take. The others don't really help a whole lot.
Yeah, I'm unaware of any that would be worth taking, just because like at this point you've got copy damage and heat cross, so in Mega Boomer and LM Trapper are already super strong, plus Black Bomb. Anything else you put in?
I think there's more room in Falzo to take more and or different chips, because it's particularly fond of null code star chips.
That's fair.
Of which there are a few, especially in the Japanese version, which we don't pick up normally. Element Man star and Falzar. Element Man is null, I think. It's correct.
That's kind of ironic.
It is. It's both a null and every primary element.
So I like Ionosphere. Looking at the crayfish thing go into the lockers, it's like, I know there's something in here.
Yeah.
It's like, no, next scenario. It's like, I've watched people speedrun this before. I know what to do here. So now they've got the extra folder. Well, we're not going to edit it just yet. And
Well, it looks
Are
like
they gonna do the
Powerflare
quiz?
is. Yeah, I'm interested to see if they do the quiz or not. Because honestly, if they're only going to Sky Gauntlets, it's probably better not to do the quiz.
yeah, crazy. Because it is out of your way to get it, and if you only get to use it in Sky Gauntlets, that's the first place you get to use it too.
I don't think that's skipping, what, one encounter? Likely? Maybe two encounters? Would be worth going all the way to Seaside and doing an extra quiz plus Navicosteta.
I guess even without the slipping, lowering your step counter. There's Chad. Pretty good. So, Power has Black Bomb, so they're doing like this should be the last folder edit because you can take whatever you want out of folder 2. It's got some good stuff in it, and then put a whole bunch of good chips in folder 1.
Yeah. So Ionosphere is going to do her edit with the Black Bomb.
Look, they're tied.
Wait, did Ionosphere not use the extra folder? Oh, they're not going to Gregor's, so there's no point. All they need is the copy damage, and the Black Bomb is nice for Sky Gauntlets.
Oh, and
So yeah, Ionosphere saving a bunch of time back. Even with the technical difficulties on their end, they're caught up.
it's a double Heatman fight. Less is more. That's routing for you. And here's our Heat Cross, unleashed upon random viruses. You technically need 1,000 Zenny to join the Lawyer Club, but there's very little that we buy.
Ionosphere dodging the HP memory.
After picking the other one up.
You do come in here once more, so I'm curious if Last is going to tell her that's a HP memory or not. Would you like to be a liar? No.
No. And without Slip Run in, there's some early green 1 encounters. How would you do that fight with the corn? Copy the corn, search out the Metars?
Ideally, I forget if you can do that or not. With the Black Bomb draw, I would have just thrown the Black Bomb and let the Metar attack once.
Yeah. Green 2 can be a little confusing. Corn. Corn all over the place. Bomb corn. My favorite flavor.
M-Boomer!
And Ellenbrand. Boomer.
Oh, you don't need
pretty
to-
good.
You don't actually need the copy damage there. You can hold down or up, and the armadillo won't attack. Won't
Pretty sure?
attack. I believe so, yeah.
I believe so.
Pretty sure.
Pretty sure.
Normally we would just copy damage and use Heat Cross anyway.
Gotcha.
But with M-Boomer, I believe that I would just not Heat Cross, not take copy damage.
Cool. So both runners are now registered with the legal system. And you can go into the courtroom. That's also where you would go fight base in a drop the base run,
Yes.
which is another fun category that you can do, although it can be a little more difficult.
with the use of Heat Cross and Beast Out, I'm sure that they could be guided through it fairly easily. However, it would definitely take a few attempts, and I don't think the runners were quite up for it today.
Yeah. But that can be particularly fun once you played the game some and you want to do something different, drop the base races, especially with randomizer.
It is a really fun race category, especially as Tara said in the randomizer. And I would expect to see more races of drop the base as well in 6. Though probably 2 scenario in the near future. Just to try to get more of the community members involved. I think it would be super fun.
Drop the base rando when? A couple weeks ago? Even did drop the base SP.
Yep.
That was a good one. Definitely check that out on YouTube if you didn't see. It was you and Last, right, Arthur?
Yes.
Played the randomized version, which has a side effect of giving you early access to base SP, and they went and fought base SP.
You can do it immediately after doing any %. So it was more or less us beating Gregar and then making sure our folder was what we wanted it to be, and then going to base SP. That run was really good too, because there was a particularly horrible encounter in the under BBS.
Oh yeah. So Iono is facing off against the lawyer in the longest dialogue section of the game.
I remember that. Please forget it.
Internet never forgets. Twitch chat always remembers. I'm impressed with like how close they are. Iono and Last have like this slow but steady strat.
That's honestly what I would recommend for newer runners. Just take it easy, make sure you're doing everything correct.
Patience, right, Arathar?
For newer runners, yeah.
Oh, trying to skip the camera. So you're looking for an alibi for your father, so you know he was in your classroom. Wait, what?
It's another accidental reset by the looks of it.
A bedtime save.
Throwing for content, says Last. Yes, they were too far ahead, so... Where was this?
Okay, so this is
they're still
home.
on Judgment.
Yeah. Unfortunate. Not terrible, but pretty unfortunate.
Definitely. So, when you're running this game, oftentimes you'll get impatient enough to just kind of spam buttons. That can be not so good sometimes. We've actually had people lose world record base runs to soft resetting in the middle of the run.
Wait, who did that?
It was mostly really early on when runs weren't super optimal, but I've seen Sunset do it, I've seen Kelios do it, I think I've done it.
That's fair. I just remember Sunset has a highlight where it's like it was some kind of one of those slow cutscenes, and he soft reset. It was like during the point collection for being 4.
Oh, yeah.
Titles like AB Start Select use it well.
In particular, I use a PS4 controller, and I have Start and Select bound to the other two face buttons that I'm not using for A and B. And sometimes I roll my thumb across all the buttons when I'm being impatient and waiting for cutscenes and stuff. This turns out really dangerous, so I try to avoid hitting all four. Fair enough, Last.
I guess that makes sense. Like you're holding B to advance text, you're mashing A to advance text, and you're pressing select to skip cutscenes.
I mash buttons during transitions and cutscenes too, but I generally avoid including both start and select. Usually I'll mash like AB or A select or something.
At least LR is safe mashing. Alright, unfortunately Powerflare can't remember that the law is 153, so we're gonna go talk to Snags to figure it out.
Yeah, that's a shame that the coach also forgot. I wouldn't expect that from the world record runner.
I'm not super surprised.
Okay, well actually. Select is used for the cutscene skip, prof.
And also regging a chip. It's kind of useful.
Yeah.
Skips cutscene. Thinking, okay. Wow, the judge tree is actually a robot. What a twist. I mean, even if it was only used for regging ships, the ability to set a default chip probably saves minutes. Alright, so what's the deal with the grass?
You're not allowed to step on it. Also, rules are suggestions.
Good summary.
For most of these comps, they want to avoid backtracking onto grass panels. And other than that, it's pretty much just knowing where to go, and I believe they have maps, so... You can also use L to kind of free cam and look around the area. I imagine that they're not going to be doing that, though.
Yep, but if you're doing a run and don't have coach...
Or maps. Then, yeah, feel free. Which maps exist now, so we... We can link those to anyone who is looking to run. Oh no. So walls are really, really bad in this comp.
He's not even trying. Oh!
Risch must have been like, just run, try it. So you can actually run from the gavel, and we use that fact a couple of times. I wouldn't expect to necessarily see these new runners do it. They might do the one in the last comp.
Yeah. That was the Celine Dion.
Oh, Iono got the HP memory.
It's inevitable.
Yeah, the gavel's damage actually even scales up based on how many grass panels you stepped on.
Can't kill you though. Kind of useful. They're both in Judge Tree. Crazy. And with that gavel caught at the end, they're only one area apart. 2 and 3 starts to get a little more complicated. You know, I would like to hear Rish and
I
Lash
love
try and
these
explain.
corners.
Like, okay, now go straight up, but stop at this corner. Okay, now you need to like turn right, then left, then right. Like, go close to the grass, but don't step on
I saw them just put maps in BN strats earlier, so
it. That's probably the best way. Ooh. Oh, I wonder if anyone will get the frame perfect encounter.
I'm kind of banking on it, but I really doubt. So there's an encounter you can get on a certain frame when transitioning between tiles that will teleport Mega Man back to the previous tile, and as soon as the encounter ends, the Gabba will come and try and bop you. It's really unfortunate, but you basically have just a chance to lose runs to RNG there.
No lurking skip, but power skips the VMD. Wonder if Iono will increase her collection of HP memories.
I actually don't remember which one's a HP memory. One of them's a reg up. I think this one might be the reg up.
Oh, is it? I think it was the HP mem, because last talked about having to pick it if the gavel gave you a bad pattern, and then you just have more HP, which doesn't matter for anything.
Potentially. I'm not sure. I've never picked it up. I just do an open turn for working skip. What is HP memory?
It's 600 HP. You know, I mean, that it could be enough to take an extra hit. Oh, did I want to get the one from the ladder during the L-Button strats? Probably not, right? I think this is the reg up. Mega
yeah,
Boomer.
probably.
What a draw.
And this one's important. It's the expansion memory.
Yeah, that's one shiny you actually do get.
Yes. Luckily, it's right in our path. It's nice how that works out. This is actually one of the less good fights. I guess they'll jump to the same row though, so it's not bad. Actually, never mind.
The golems are a problem because they take half damage from everything, but copy damage doesn't care. Oh,
That doesn't actually matter that much. It just means that Iono's locked into Buster Bug. You can't use Slip Run either, but that doesn't matter because they're not picking it up.
huh. That's a good point. Or did either of
Oh.
them do the quiz? Thinking about it?
It's horizontal, so you wouldn't actually lose the Buster Bug. Never mind.
You'd only lose the Buster Bug if you picked up both span memories.
Yeah.
Judgman has attacks? So Judgman will move like twice, and then he will do an attack, and one of his attacks will move him in front of you.
Basically dead even here. I must have missed it, but I guess Powerflare didn't get Lurking Skip first try.
Celine Dion's.
Yeah, Celine Dion skip. My bad. Lurking Skip's literally impossible.
It's pretty bad. It's cool, but alright. So now that they beat Judgman, what is next? This is the Element Man scenario.
Yes, and
Oh, maybe
I've
I've
noticed
heard
that knock on the seaside, I think.
Iono went to Sky, Power went to Seaside. So Power might be.
Hmm.
I missed the first quiz. Yeah, they're going for it. So talk to the guy. No, the other guy.
Yeah, I didn't catch them during the first quiz.
Oh, if they didn't, this is gonna be real funny here in a second. You have to do the
Sure.
quizzes in order, unfortunately. Wait, where's Ionosphyre go? Trying to explain navigations in Battle Network. Okay, yeah.
I guess he did do the first quiz.
I feel like Last has some insider strats. It's like, oh, we could skip slip run. Yeah, I'll not tell Risch.
I think that's exactly what's happening with the Navicast or the folder edit skip as well.
Yeah. And I got another HP mem. Are you learning where all the HP mems are?
I know where they're all to anyway. It's for I pick up most of them in base runs. Particularly for SD, I picked up.
But it means you
Yeah.
were learning.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Everyone else.
I'd imagine most of the people who care have 100% of the game before anyhow.
I don't remember. Actually, I don't think I've ever 100% of it. So.
Fair.
Need to do
Ooh,
that
didn't
at some
get
point.
tried.
Does that matter for Sky Gauntlet?
Actually, no. You're right.
Last
Does
is
not matter.
way ahead of us.
Yeah, last with the big brain strats. Did get an extra encounter here because they ran up the ramp. Did not trust the Buster Charge.
The timing on everything is like, until you learn it, you're just like not really sure. Like, is this fast enough? How long does this attack last? Should I damage boost here? And then those are all just experience questions.
Ooh, so these gauntlets don't actually delete you. Although I guess it is slightly faster to reset than to watch the game over screen.
Wow. Mega Boomer? Probably not, right? Just gonna dodge it.
Well, Mega Boomer is better, yeah. There's the potential for them to both move up, or into the middle, but it's unlikely enough. You will probably use the Elm Trap here as well.
Well, actually, you would have like cross.
Ah.
And this is just like.
Oh,
cross
yes.
with
They got
copy.
copy damage straight through the corn.
Okay, so that's the Fat Kid copy damage. If you fire copy damage just right, the corn will phase through it like it doesn't exist.
And that happens surprisingly often if you mash at the start of that fight.
Right, looking at the difference in Elm Trap, Black Bomb, and Mega Boomer, what a draw. But looking at the difference in how quickly you're
I would
step
actually
down.
go for this fight. But they're gonna go for Heat Cross, I guess.
Oh, with all the Vulcans. Maybe
Yeah.
Risch just explaining that right now.
I think you could literally just do one Buster Charge and then mash A with the Vulcans.
Yeah, Vulcan with Beast Out's pretty strong because plus 30 puts 40 damage per hit. Oh, almost had the really cool strat with the copy damage there.
Oh no, Powerflare forgot to Heat Cross for the corn. These things have so much HP.
Yeah, that's one reason that heat's so insane.
Being slightly faster to wait for the corn to go to the back with the M Boomer and skip Heat Cross, but definitely appreciate the safety of Heat Crossing in there.
Picking on new runners, Arathar.
I mean, that's like a coach decision, right?
It's probably a reaction decision. Like, oh, I didn't heat cross the first time. I'll heat cross the second time.
Yeah. That's fine.
Like you're pre-committed. Because Powerflare, one thing he said is that it's like he had something in mind. It's like, this is what I'm going to do. And then even as Risch is explaining one strat, it's like already doing a different one. The pulse bulbs are some of the worst enemies in the game. Agree?
Yeah, definitely agree. Every fight that
Especially-
has in it is pretty much awful.
Yeah, for the speedrun. Because they're invulnerable, excluding copy damage, when they're not attacking. And their attacks will either blind or paralyze you. Ooh, Buster Bug almost jamming up. Oh, it's like, why did I not slip? Oh yeah. So here's
See if they can get an encounter before this first guy.
Yeah. If this cutscene resets your step counter, it probably doesn't, right?
They should, yeah.
The rush food?
Oh, not the rush food. It might, but I doubt it. Oh, I wonder if Powerflare is going to go for the M-Boomer strat there. Ionosphere with a very similar draw on her fights. Not much point in it though.
Yeah, Mega Boomer's a trap there, unfortunately. Because like you can damage boost and just get 2 charge shots off quick enough. I don't think
Yeah,
having
you
the car move.
end up still with copy damage.
Oh, paralyzed.
Pulse bulbs are the worst.
You can time the charge shot to hit them before they hit you, but the determined. The safer thing to do is stand in the front, and then once they lock onto you, wait until they move in front of you and then move back. If you move too early, like after they see you but before they start moving, they'll track you. So if you move back too soon, they'll follow you to the back.
That's in fact what I still do. I don't bother to try to time it. Especially like if the shot's going to kill them, I might. But you're looking at frames of time loss rather than seconds if you just move back. So
Yeah. It's really only worth it if you need to do 2 charge shots and it's the one that blinds you.
yeah, you can take a damage boost and I think fully kill the blind one.
Yes. Oh, going in circles. 3 judges down. Iono's actually almost done.
Yeah.
This is the final fight. It's 10.
If any of these are going to get repeated, it's this one.
Yeah.
It
Is-
is, in fact, safe to die during these. You just have to start them over. But
Yeah.
I guess last is explaining how this fight works. It's pretty important to do it right when he has 150. A little bit early. Should still be fine though. Just gotta make sure to kill him before he recovers. Dang. Copy damage M-Boomer is a good draw here.
Can you move up and hit the copy, or do you have to wait for the move?
I'm not sure. I don't really go for that.
It's a good draw. I don't go for it, but it's good. It's
Yeah,
just move forward.
well, because for me, right, it's like I hold up, I hit heat cross, I take copy damage, I hit OK. If
Yeah.
the fight's doable in charge shot, I don't always even look at what my chip draw is.
Agree. I think like not hesitating on the chip menu. It's because if you hesitate on the chip menu, any time save from a faster draw is lost. So most of the Sky Gauntlets is just like, I'm going to learn how the fight works and do it.
Oh, you do get healed after each of these gauntlets, which I guess is coming into play for Power Sphere here. Powerflare. So
Power Sphere. It's guaranteed to win the race.
very exhaustion. Really good
150.
fight there. Ionosphere.
Oh yeah. One can be annoying. Rain arrow showing up. You can't get full synchro while on a cross, but if you do a fight without crossing and happen to have full synchro, carrying that over to the next fight can sometimes, in small instances, change the strat that you use.
Yes, Ionosphere is slightly ahead now because she skipped Sneak Run. Or not Sneak Run, Slip Run. Hello, Quinn Madden. Welcome. Is indeed quite a fantastic game series. Most of our favorites.
Yeah. Quinn joined the Discord recently, was asking about getting started speedrunning.
Awesome. I hope that goes well.
Which I will say one more time, this is a bonus follow-up to a 2-scenario race that we did, where Iono and Power did their first runs up to Dive Man, effectively. And we're interested in expanding that to the rest of the series. Actually, is Iono done? Yeah, Iono's done. 15. Nice. And so we'll be doing this with the other 5 games, and if anyone is interested in learning them, this would be a great way to get started.
So Ionosphere actually had a couple of mishaps, and it's mostly due to last routing decisions that she's finished first here. That's good, great on
combo.
but definitely really good on the coach for deciding to skip a few extra things compared to the other team.
Oh, LM Trap with the Elect guy is unfortunate because without copy damage on him, I actually won't kill because electricity damage just heals its full.
Yeah.
The champion Matar SP is probably my favorite fight. I'm just going for LM Trap. That's true. Because like
Unfortunate.
the copy damage.
If Iono did the thing, but it
Yeah.
fight's really cool.
Double hitting the champion because it teleports back and forth.
It's again very close too. The runners were both very close at the end here.
I think we would all like a connection or a collection for the series. Oh, getting cross-cancelled and the barrier.
Yeah, I would love to see a collection. It's not going to happen, but it would be cool if it did.
Let's not assume.
I will assume not until proven otherwise.
Fine. Oh, this is the last fight. The power's almost done as well. And I guess we'll end it after they go talk to the judge, if they do that. Yeah, they are.
Yeah, we know there's at least going to be merch. I'm just not convinced that that's going to include a game.
Wow, not bad. Yeah, it... Hour 10 minutes.
Yeah. Hey, my estimate was pretty good.
Yeah, I know. Cool. Well, let's see. I guess let's just bring the runners and the coaches back in for another retrospective, and then we'll close it out. We got 2 announcements afterwards.
Yep.
So stick around. Don't leave yet. But let's chat with the runners.
Do we want to just drag them in, or are we going to give them some warning?
Give them some warning.
Alright.
Badoo. Yeah. Doesn't matter what they call it as long as they release it. Badoo. Hey, Lass. Hey, Iono.
Hello.
Well, that was exciting to watch.
Adventure to play. Oof.
We learned a little bit about how to mash properly without accidentally resetting the game.
I think that is an
just
important
wanted-
skill.
Fight Heatman twice, that's all.
Yeah, I mean, the second fight you showed clear improvement, so practice is everything.
And I got the tricks, so it was definitely worth.
Yeah.
Not actually, but I know it's really funny.
Power, since you're sitting on the title, can you press start so that way it doesn't loop? Just keep the music playing.
Oh, you want me to like?
Yeah, sit on that. Perfect. So one of the most interesting things I noticed is you appear to have modified the route specifically for Sky Gauntlets. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, from playing a lot of Gregor and Falzar, and also knowing that my runner has no experience with Sky Gauntlet at all, I knew we weren't going to try and do any clever things with chips. So we didn't touch the Expo folder at all, because those are mostly used for the Gregor fight at the end of the game, and like double crack can be useful, but we're not going to try and do clever things. The game plan going in was we are going to use every Emboomer and Element Trap we can use because they're safe and consistent, and otherwise just heat cross every fight. And I think that was a good idea because we don't waste time on chips that we're not going to end up using, and we can just power through and play safe and not die. I also had a skip slip run. So that way we can skip doing the first quiz, which saves like 15 seconds, and the whole sequence to go get slip run and put it in your folder is like 2 minutes. We did end up eating a couple more encounters in Sky Area because of it, but they're not risky encounters, and probably saves like a minute overall to skip that, I think.
Yeah, I was actually surprised and very impressed with both the decisions to skip the Expo folder and then to skip Sneak Run, which after the Expo folder decision, we actually kind of anticipated that you would be skipping Sneak Run as well.
If I could just say something about that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought that was interesting. Io and I were actually talking about it earlier, and I was like, apparently she had already talked with Last about the same thing, but I was like, I'm thinking about skipping Slip Run because I feared that I never used Slip Run casually, so I was like, I'm probably going to slip by accident, and it's going to be a miss. But then Risch and I just talked about it, and it probably would have... I don't know if it would have saved me time skipping it, but just in the interest of the entire speedrun, not just this race, but as a learning experience for myself, just decided to go through with it anyway. But obviously, it makes a lot of sense why Last and Io decided to skip it.
Yeah, I think even if you get like a fairly worst case scenario where you get maybe 2 or 3 extra encounters in the Sky areas because of it, in a situation where this is the only time you're going to be able to get extra encounters, probably is a little faster to skip it. Like Last said, close to a minute, I would say. And that said, with getting Slip Run, even if you never actually use it for its slipping, it's definitely still worth picking up for any full game runs.
I could get.
I basically told Powerflare at the start. I was also telling him originally to grab Slip Run because we were briefly under the impression that we'd be going up to Mr. Weather or Element Man.
Mm.
And I told him, at the very least, use it as auto run because you'll be getting fewer encounters.
Yeah.
But I'm also...
By the time, even if you add in just Mr. Weather and like the run through the Undernet, I think it becomes worth it to pick it up again.
Agreed.
Yeah, and my main purpose for having him grab it was because of the situation that we're in. This isn't two experienced runners trying to race to Sky Gauntlets. This is more of an opportunity to let new runners experience part of the speedrun. So
Yes.
I focused less on the racing aspect and trying to get Powerflare through it as fast as possible, and more so guide him through what an any percent run would be up until this point. So I wanted him to go through the folder edit, explain like what he's doing through the folder edit. I wanted him to do slip run so he can potentially build up that muscle memory of, oh yes, I need to go get slip run now. The only thing I did have him skip was
definitely
because at that point I had noticed that Last was skipping this stuff, and I had him skip the shortcut, which is a very, very minor thing. He did not pick up the Sky HP shortcut.
Yeah.
But
In the
but
voice call, I was actually like, "Oh, Iono forgot the shortcut," and we were like, oh wait, no, Last is just very ahead of us.
yeah. But yeah, so that was my thought process behind it. Was I had noticed a little bit of like what was being skipped for time save purposes, but I wanted to make it more of a learning experience for an any percent run, in case
Right.
Powerflare plans on doing like actually fully learning the run and plans on doing
Yeah.
more any percent speedruns.
And in general, this is a super arbitrary category that will probably never actually erased again. So if you're going past if you're going past the point where you can get sneaker or slip run, generally speaking, you should definitely pick that up. Same goes for the folder edit.
Very legit category. I think this should be it.
I can get a W.
We con the category from Dive Man to Sky Gauntlets.
Wait, does this mean I hold a word? Wait, what?
It's not only Dive Man to Skylons, it's Dive Man no train arrow to the Skylons.
Yeah.
Yeah, very specific.
At the 1 in 6.
Skydive percent.
Skydive percent.
I do totally appreciate you, Risch, trying to make the experience as authentic as possible for Powerflare. Like, I thought it was really cool to be able to work as a coach through Sky Gauntlets themselves, because I could explain, all right, this is the strat we're going to use for this fight, because I can see your draw, and I can tell you this is the way we're going to do it consistently. Like, we got to do the swag kill on the Metar plus Champy, and it was like, doesn't this feel sweet? Like, we have unlocked our power, and we're going ham, and it was just like a really nice authentic experience there. I also, she had a bad Heatman into missing the trick, and the authentic experience at that point is to reset. So we went.
Well done, Last. Truly authentic. But yeah,
Second time though.
I do. Yeah, I noticed that. At least we got it on the streak. We displayed the trick. Well done. Well done. But yeah, I think that the Sky Gauntlets was the most interesting part about it. Was I don't know exactly how you were handling it, Last, but basically. I think I told Powerflare essentially the same thing that you told Io, which is heat cross at the start of every fight, and then I'll tell you what to do after that based on your draw. So basically, like, he would go through and I would explain like what ships he should select, and then I would explain how to do the fight. And it was like just explaining all of the little bits of movement and then watching him execute on it. You know, obviously it wasn't perfect every time, but when he did get it right, it felt really good. And I'm sure it felt really good for Powerflare too, to see it, to do it himself in the fast manner.
You're like, oh, I get it.
Yeah, that's also the key thing is like you can watch a speedrun and see what they're doing, but you don't necessarily understand why sometimes, right? But like when you're looking at it and you're about to execute on it yourself, you kind of understand like, oh, this is why they move in this particular manner, right? So yeah, I think the Sky Gauntlets and like explaining, like coaching through that was honestly really cool. I think that it's great that we went up through Sky Gauntlets for the stream.
I will say though that I am disappointed with your Metar Champion fight because you didn't do the swag thing because you drew M Boomer, which is faster, but it's not cool.
Incorrect. He didn't draw M Boomer. He did, and I had him do an even more lame strat because I had him do Elm Trap,
which is still probably faster, but also
it was faster for me to do LM Trap than Risch to explain a faster way to do that.
That would have.
That's also true. Yes,
it was. That fight in particular is like really, really cool, and it took me several times to understand like, you can do this? Why does this work? But I do agree. I realized after I told him to just use Elm Trap, I'm like, for the fun of it, I should have had him do the swag strat.
I'd have to time out the screen dims, but I think Elm Trap is probably slightly faster.
Yeah,
Oh, no way, it's gonna be slower.
I looked at it and I'm like, yeah, that looks a little bit faster.
I refuse to believe it.
Actually, I don't know. Because you're doing the same movement. You have 2 screen dims and versus just heat cross. But it's the time of letting the champion attack. It's close, I will say, at the very least.
But the champion attacks either way and doesn't die until he snaps back.
It's a difference of the champion punches once and frame 1, the Elm Trap triggers, or the champion has to finish his entire attack, then move back and get hit by the heat cross.
It's a difference between the number of frames the champion takes to attack versus the number more frames Element Trap takes compared to Heat Cross, assuming it's even longer.
Yes, correct.
There's also selecting the element trap.
Yeah, and then there's scrolling up to get to Heat Cross.
Yep. Reacting to, oh, I drew an element trap, but I already picked heat cross because I autopiloted that.
Yeah, so like for me, I probably wouldn't.
Oh, I would never take Elm Trap. In fact, it took me a brief second to say, oh, that's an Elm Trap. That works on this fight. Because I'm so used to...
Most of the time, if I see the fight, it's one of the fights that is super consistent and fast with 1 charge shot. I won't even look at my chips.
The only exception for that particular fight is Black Bomb. I would take Black Bomb.
I don't think I would.
So
It would be faster, but most of the time I don't think I would react fast enough for it to be faster.
So I think the judge tree was a little bit of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Just because movement is so precise there. And if you're not familiar with how to get through it, it can definitely be very tricky, especially when you're trying to do speed skip on top of that.
I saw some walls and corners causing problems, which
I was
honestly
looking
made me
too
kinda
much at my
happy.
map.
It was really funny. Powerflare took 2 tries to get SpeedRunner skip, but he did it perfectly both times, except for the fact that he forgot that the corners in this comp suck.
Yep.
Because he went left to the wall, he cut up, and both times he got the bad spawn on the gavel, but he avoided it perfectly. And he just didn't know the first time that the corner was going to get in his way if he held it up, essentially. So he just ran into the corner, and the gavel just slowly but surely came and popped him on the head.
The corners are absolutely terrible.
So yeah, and I think one of the other things of like doing comps like that, which is like super, that comp is basically just movement. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
And so the best way to learn it is to see a map and like figure out how you need to go through it. And that's how I don't know how if you were like trying to explain to Io how to go through it or if she was using a map or whatever. But Powerflare was for the most part looking at a map, figuring out where he needed to go. But he was actually looking at the map too much, he said.
Yeah. And I wasn't looking at the game screen, and then I stepped right back onto the grass, and it was like, oh, hey, Rip.
I had a picture of Powerflare's map on my phone open in front of me.
Oh yeah, I posted that in MMBN strats earlier.
Yep, I took it.
That's why I posted it.
Is relatively easy to describe though, and Iono has watched me play through these comps a lot to the point where you could probably like each of those pieces is sort of like an individual puzzle, and sometimes you can see the whole puzzle. And at the start of the second one, I was like, now you have to step on every tile. And then she was just like, oh, so I go like this, and I was like, yep, that's it. Great.
Yeah,
that's the easiest way to explain it.
That's why I was trying to get to with Powerflare is that there's like a few times where you can see all of the buttons, and it's very clear. Even if like you don't have a map in front of you, it's like, okay, I just have to briefly look at this in game and see, oh, this is the path I need to take.
Honestly,
so
with that, so earlier today I made the judge tree map. I made the Aqua maps. I was like, oh, I should make a judge tree map. But I wasn't even like it was an afterthought. I wasn't so concerned about it, and now I feel like going back. I mean, making the map obviously good experience just to see the route, but I probably wouldn't use it next time, or if I could go back, I probably wouldn't look at it because I think it would just be easier. In the case where I can't see everything, Risch just say, oh, go left or go up or whatever. A lot of times I realize I can just figure it out by looking at the game and not my third monitor.
Yeah, most of the time you can see the whole puzzle as you're walking into it, so it's not too bad. There are just a couple of terms you need to memorize.
The in-game L button strats, right?
Oh yeah.
If you
Yeah,
read it
for
like-
free can.
for the-
Well, cool. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Thanks for running. I think sometime I'm gonna have to do a run with Last coaching me. I think that'd be an experience.
I'll just be like, Tara, you know where to go.
It's
I'll
like,
play Hanabi with Aerithar. Well,
that's not fair.
Well, we're in voice with Tara, and then we'll be like,
Red 3.
we'll be talking about Hanabi, and then Tara will be like, "Hey, which way do I go here?" And we'll be like, it's you've got 2 rooms."
That's why it's actually like interesting, because with the newer runners, we understand that they're newer. We're like trying to explain it, but I don't think I could coach Last through it, because, or like Tara, for example, because for the most part, you guys know where to go, and all I'm gonna do is see that you make a mistake and make fun of you afterwards for it.
Me though, so I mean,
the most useful thing I did definitely was just remember Dolphin Skip.
yes, true.
I got Powerflare to do Dolphin Skip once.
Oh, when
I
we
got it
were coming
one.
up on the copy bot, we were like, "All right, they're both going to be telling the runners to remember to get in the copy bot."
Yes, true.
Yes.
I wrote
Yeah,
that
we
in
did.
all caps in my notes. Talk to
Oh,
the
nice,
copy
nice.
bot.
Powerflare also said that his notes make sure to talk to the bucket as Mega Man as well. The kid with the bucket on his head.
Yeah, yeah.
There's an emote on my channel, an FFZ emote, Talk to Bucket. Because when I was like practicing Blast Man, I forgot that one time.
I think one of the most interesting things when you start speedrunning a Battle Network game yourself is like seeing how actually fairly difficult things are.
Mm.
So it's nice to see how quickly you guys were able to get through it.
Yeah, like I gained a massive appreciation. Like the first time I did it, when I ran Blast Man for the first time, it was the same thing. Like, oh my gosh, there's like all the little details with the movement and optimizations and stuff. And then I felt that again really when transitioning it into Dive Man, especially after Dive Man. Especially just like Risch guiding me along. I'm like, wow, there's so many little things that I just see watching Last, watching Risch, watching other runners. And I'm like, I don't realize how much practice went into just, you know, learning how to walk from point A to point B quickly.
Actually, remembering where to go is so hard. Like for Judgment Split, especially, I feel like all you do is run around to random places, and you need to remember where to go, and that's what I struggle with the most.
Yeah.
There's tons of back and forth, and honestly, that's probably the hardest part for learning the games.
Yeah. Luckily BN6 is like one of the shorter ones, but some of the longer BN games, for example, I don't want to even think about BN5, but just
Oh my
BN3 is an example.
The reality bursts and Fiverr and Nightmare.
Yeah, but like even just BN3, there's like so much back and forth among
like the
4
network.
areas. And the internet, you're going through the internet so many times in very similar yet slightly different ways. And
And then like the whole end game of BN2 as well is just awful for
Yeah.
them.
yes. So like each of the games, even like BN6, it's relatively short, but it still does have that element of you're doing relatively similar things in a lot of different places, and you just have to remember where you are, and as a result of where you are, what you actually have to do now.
All right. Any closing statements or thoughts from our runners, Ionosphere?
I'd like to see. Okay, so I know that Risch has the BN 600% if someone beats your record with Lekfest. I would like to pose some reward or something for someone beating Heatman twice and getting. Pro tip: don't put your A/B start and select buttons next to each other on your keyboard.
Oh, is that what
All
happened?
down to the
Yeah,
face.
no, I literally reset and lost like 5 minutes of time because I
In
reset
total, we did it
twice.
twice.
I
Yeah.
talked to the guy with 42 text boxes twice because
Yep. I noticed you were going back and talking to Ito after I saw a message in the Discord saying like, "Did another accident?" And I was like, "Huh? What do you mean?" And I looked and like, "Oh, she's talking to Ito again." Oh.
Yeah.
But it was very, very fun. I really enjoyed this. And actually, so Last and I figured that if I won, it was his fault, and if I lost, it was his fault. So I guess we just gotta blame Last for this.
Definitely.
Well done. Well done. I'm looking forward to Last's in-depth lecture analysis on these runs.
Oh, definitely.
We'll see. We'll see.
You just pick like a segment if it's too much.
I'm sure at the very least you'll probably talk a little bit about them.
Do you need
During
more channel
stream.
points? I got some channel points.
No, it's definitely a cool experience though, and since this was a little bit of my brainchild, shoutouts to Io and Powerflare for agreeing to run this in front of a decent crowd of people. It can always be a little nerve-wracking to jump into something like this for the first time, but I'd say
Yeah.
they crushed it.
I would 100% agree. Both runners did phenomenal. Congrats, Io, on winning the race. But Powerflare still did really good. And you know, I was actually telling Powerflare this before. When he was doing the part of the game that he's actually like relatively practiced with, which was the Blastman segment, I was actually really impressed with his movement. And so I'm sure that if he were to, you know, continue running and like actually practice the game, he'd be a pretty good runner. And I think both runners would also have that. When I looked over at Io, like it seemed like she knew what she was doing most of the time. And so I think that with some practice, both could be really good BN6 runners.
I must have faked it well then.
You're just faking it the whole time.
Yup. Where are you going?
Sorry, I got bored. I'm just...
Additionally, I think it was super fun to be a coach for any competent BN6 runner, person who knows what they're doing. In particular, Sky Gauntlets, telling somebody else how to do Sky Gauntlets in a reasonable way and sort of trying to explain the concepts while also just getting them through it fast. Super interesting, really makes you like have to know your stuff and not only be able to like calculate how to do the battle fast on your own, but keep in mind that, oh, this person isn't necessarily going to be able to perform the same things I would be able to do. I got to get the information to them that they'll be able to handle quickly. So super fun, and I would encourage more people to be on the lookout for races like this going forward if there's interest, because both being a coach and being a runner, I have to imagine is fun.
I have suggested in the past that we get Aerithar and Terra running Star Force 3 with me as a coach and someone else as a coach, and I would coach one of them blindfolded.
Oh,
So I will put that out there. That has been suggested.
I don't know if the blindfold is necessary.
Blindfold's 100% necessary.
It's gonna be a disaster enough. I've only played half of Star Force 3. The rest would be completely blind.
And that's what makes it fun. But anyway, yes, I think that
Pair you
this.
two up.
I think that this was
Oh no.
super awesome, and big shout outs to both runners, and big shout out to Last for doing an excellent job coaching Io through it.
And also, shout out to the commentators. I didn't hear a word of what was happening, but I
Yep.
have to assume it was good.
Appreciate everybody putting this on. It was a lot of fun.
This might be one of my favorite TeamBN, like non-large events so far. I think this was a super fun idea.
Happy
Agreed.
to be a part of it. Watched a lot of TeamBN, so it was fun to actually be on a stream for once.
Yeah, and it was
Yeah.
nice to get some new faces on the stream.
Or voices at least.
Well, yeah.
No runner cams for
Oh, are
now.
you doing it?
Yeah, of course!
I was gonna go fight base, but
Oh, I can't beat base. No way. You can do that. I'll let Last Man, take care of himself here.
Oh,
Of
that's
course,
right.
doing it after you get beat, Gross.
What good aim.
Wow.
Wow.
Alright, so now do I run around until I get SP?
do you have to check out in this game?
I
Yes.
think so.
That's silly.
If you want to do base, go for it. I think I am good with Last Man.
SP. I wonder where you have to check out first if you're trying to get SP. But I wonder where the cubes are
I don't actually know.
for SP. Like, I wonder if you could do the same thing.
Can I get it in any central comp?
It's gotta be
Central
central
two only.
too.
Only
It has to be
central.
central too. A sneak run will help a little bit because you won't get the other encounters.
Oh Oh, sure, that's a good idea. I'll buy one.
Well, couple announcements before we sign off. The TeamBN Summer Showcase, we have dates for it. We're going to do that July 25th and 26th. So if there's anything anyone would like to submit, so it could be a 2-scenario race like this, or it could be a full game speed run or challenge run, fan game content, just anything. We are now taking submissions, so check it out, sign up, and we'll fit in as much Battle Network and Star Force related content as we can over that weekend.
Hype!
You can sign off
Look-
if you want. We're just
Yeah, you don't have to wait for it.
Yeah.
What content?
Unless you want to watch me fight base and watch Io fight Last Man SP.
trying to find Last Man SP. He's playing hard to get.
Go ahead and bookmark that because so we did this 2-scenario race up to Dive Man, and the video was like a fun demonstration of that. But if you're interested in trying it yourself, shoutouts to TheLastAaoa and Arathar actually made a tutorial specifically for this, and we're gonna premiere it right now. Copy. I've never done this before, don't actually know how it works. So let's find out. Premiere will begin shortly. Alright. So I encourage everyone to go watch their tutorial. And it'll show you all of the strats of how to quickly beat Dive Man with Battle Network 6. And then hopefully you can join in the next BN6 2-scenario race. Here on the
Yeah, I'm
first
dead.
transmission.
It's not happening. I realize how much damage it does. Alright, let's go watch that stream.
Cool. And thank you everyone for participating. Thank you racers, thank you coaches, thank you commentators, and thank you everyone for watching. We hope you enjoyed this, something different. It was pretty fun from our perspective. Hope you enjoyed. And if there's anything else you want to see, feel free to message in the Discord. And otherwise, we'll catch you on the next stream. Next weekend, we're going to be doing something a little lighter, a little casual. We're going to have kind of a watch party where we revisit some clips from our much earlier marathons, back when BN6 was 3 hours long. Reminisce about some of the earlier events in anticipation of the next summer showcase. So hopefully we'll see you then, also around 6 p.m. Eastern on the TeamBN channel. Yeah, and I think that's it. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you next week. Enjoy the tutorial, and good luck.